beneath the waves and cutting across the open ocean. One type of warship has defined American naval supremacy for over 30 years, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. It's not the biggest ship in the U.S. Navy's fleet, but it may be the most dangerous, measuring nearly 510 feet long and displacing over 9,000 tons of steel. This warship carries weapons capable of targeting threats in the sky, on the surface, beneath the ocean, and deep inside enemy territory, all simultaneously. With over 70 ships already commissioned and more still being built, the Arleigh Burke class is the backbone of American naval power. And right now, the weapons on board these destroyers are the most advanced in their class anywhere on Earth. Before we talk weapons, you need to understand the platform. The class entered service in 1991 with USS Arleigh Burke, named after the legendary admiral who commanded destroyer squadrons in World War II. Since then, it has evolved through multiple flight variants: Flight 1, Flight 2, and the current Flight 3, each generation more capable than the last. Flight 3 destroyers, the newest, are over 510 feet long and displace roughly 9,700 tons fully loaded. They carry a crew of approximately 280 to 330 sailors and officers. Their combined gas and gas turbine propulsion system, known as COGAC, uses 4 General Electric LM-2500 gas turbine engines, producing over 100,000 shaft horsepower. Top speed exceeds 30 knots, making these ships fast enough to keep up with carrier strike groups and aggressive enough to operate independently. What makes the class especially formidable isn't any single weapon. It's the integration. Every system, radar, missiles, torpedoes, guns, electronic warfare, is linked into a unified combat management network. The ship doesn't just carry weapons, it thinks with them. And that thinking starts with one of the most powerful radar systems in the world. The most consequential upgrade on the newest Arleigh Burke Flight 3 destroyers is a radar system the Navy calls AN/SPY-6V1, also known as the Air and Missile Defense Radar. Let's talk about what this thing can do. The SPY-6 is roughly 35 times more sensitive than the legacy AN/SPY-1D radar it replaces on older ships. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a generational leap. It can detect and track targets with a radar cross-section the size of a golf ball at distances that were previously impossible for ship-based radars. That matters enormously when adversaries are designing missiles specifically engineered to be small and fast. The SPY-6 is built around a modular design using radar modular assemblies. Each RMA is a self-contained radar unit, and you can scale the system by adding more. The Flight 3 destroyer uses 37 RMAs in its primary array. If one module is damaged, the system keeps operating. You can't just knock out one component and blind the ship. What the SPY-6 is specifically designed to counter is the modern anti-ship ballistic missile threat. Weapons like China's DF-21D or DF-26, which are designed to fly high, dive steeply, and strike moving ships at sea. The SPY-6's ability to pick up these threats earlier in their flight path gives interceptor missiles critical additional seconds to engage. And in missile defense, seconds are everything. If the radar is the ship's brain, the Mark 41 vertical launch system is its fist. Every destroyer is equipped with 96 Mark 41 VLS cells. Configurations vary slightly by hull, but in any configuration, these cells represent the most flexible and lethal missile magazine afloat. Each cell can hold one large missile or up to 4 quad-packed smaller missiles. That flexibility is critical because the VLS isn't tied to a single weapon. It can be loaded with a mix of munitions depending on the mission. The RIM-162 Evolved Sea Sparrow missile is the ship's mid-range air defense weapon. Quad-packed in Mark 41 cells, a single destroyer can carry dozens of these. The Block 2 version, now entering service, adds an active radar seeker that makes it far more capable against maneuvering targets and low observable threats. Range is roughly 30 miles. The SM-2 Standard missile remains a core weapon for fleet air defense. These missiles are designed to intercept aircraft and anti-ship missiles at medium to long ranges, out to 90 miles or more in some variants. The SM-2 has been a workhorse since the 1970s, and it's still highly effective today. Then there's the SM-6. This is where it gets serious. The SM-6 is one of the most versatile missiles in naval history. It can intercept aircraft and cruise missiles in the terminal phase. It can intercept ballistic missiles in their final descent. And in 2016, the Navy revealed it can also strike surface ships. 1 missile, 3 missions. Range exceeds 250 miles in air defense mode. That's a weapon capable of hitting targets most ships never even knew they were threatening. And then there's the Tomahawk, the BGM-109. Tomahawk cruise missile has been the Navy's premier land attack weapon for over 4 decades. The Block 4 Tomahawk can be retargeted in flight and has a range of over 1,000 miles. It can fly low, sometimes just a few dozen feet off the ground, to avoid radar detection. The Block V version, now in service, adds a maritime strike capability, meaning a Tomahawk can now be used to hit enemy warships as well as land targets. Range, precision, and flexibility in a single weapon. Arleigh Burke destroyers can carry dozens of Tomahawks, and their ability to launch coordinated salvos from standoff range has made them central to every major combat operation the U.S. has conducted since Desert Storm. Not every mission calls for a missile. For shorter range engagements, naval gunfire support, and situations where a precision but lower cost round is appropriate, the Arleigh Burke carries the Mark 45 5-inch/62 caliber naval gun. The Mark 45, fitted on newer hulls, fires rounds at a rate of up to 20 rounds per minute to a range of approximately 13 nautical miles with standard ammunition, and further with extended range munitions. The gun is fully automated. The crew doesn't manually load rounds. The automated handling system feeds ammunition from the magazine below, making the system fast and operationally efficient. The Navy has been developing the extended range munition and the hypervelocity projectile to significantly extend the gun's reach and lethality. The hypervelocity projectile, or HVP, is a guided round designed to defeat threats, including rockets, artillery shells, and even cruise missiles, effectively turning the 5-inch gun into an affordable close-range air defense system alongside its traditional surface and land attack roles. In littoral combat or shore bombardment missions, the Mark 45 provides immediate, responsive firepower that missiles simply can't match in terms of sustained rate of fire and cost per round. The threat beneath the surface is arguably the most dangerous one a destroyer faces. Enemy submarines, modern ones running quietly on air-independent propulsion systems, can approach carrier strike groups at slow speed, almost silently, and launch devastating salvos of torpedoes before anyone knows they're there. The Arleigh Burke exists in part specifically to prevent this. The AN/SQS-53C is the destroyer's hull-mounted active and passive sonar. It transmits sound pulses into the water and listens for returns, the acoustic signature of a submarine. The system can operate in both active mode, pinging aggressively, and passive mode, listening quietly for a submarine that doesn't know it's being tracked. The sonar is mounted in a large dome beneath the bow of the ship. Once a contact is identified, the destroyer has several options. The Mark 46 and Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes can be launched from deck-mounted triple torpedo tubes. These weapons are wire-guided or acoustically homing and are specifically designed to kill submarines. The Mark 54 is the current standard, combining the seeker head from the advanced AD cap heavyweight torpedo with the Mark 46's lighter body for helicopter and surface launch compatibility. And about helicopters, the MH-60R Seahawk is the destroyer's most powerful anti-submarine tool. Operating from the ship's flight deck, the Seahawk can deploy dipping sonar into the water, drop sonobuoys across a wide area, and launch torpedoes against submarine contacts far beyond the ship's own reach. The helicopter essentially gives the destroyer a mobile sonar and weapons platform, that extends ASW coverage out to 100 nautical miles or more. 2 Seahawks can be embarked on an Arleigh Burke, and they make the ship dramatically more lethal against submarines. What happens when an incoming missile gets past the long-range interceptors, past the medium-range missiles, past the electronic jamming, and is now a mile away, closing at supersonic speed? That's what the Phalanx close-in weapon system is for. Phalanx is a 20mm, 6-barrel M61A1 Gatling gun mounted in a distinctive white dome, housing you've seen on virtually every major American surface combatant. The Block 1B version currently on destroyers can fire at a rate of 4,500 rounds per minute. It has its own radar, both search and track, and operates autonomously. You set it, and it handles incoming threats without requiring a human to point it at anything. The Phalanx is designed to generate a wall of depleted uranium or tungsten rounds in the path of an incoming missile. It's not trying to score a direct hit, it's trying to saturate a kill zone. Range is roughly 1 to 1.5 miles, with engagement time measured in seconds. In the Red Sea since 2023, U.S. Navy ships, including destroyers, have engaged dozens of Houthi anti-ship ballistic missiles and drones, and the Phalanx has proven itself in live combat. Adding a complementary soft kill layer, the destroyer carries the AN/SLQ-32 electronic warfare system. This system detects incoming radar-guided threats and can jam or deceive their guidance systems, causing them to miss. When combined with the Phalanx hard kill system and the missile layers above it, the result is a multi-layered defensive architecture that's extremely difficult to penetrate. Perhaps the most strategically significant capability on an Arleigh Burke destroyer is one most people don't associate with a warship at all: ballistic missile defense. The SM-3 Block 2A missile is designed to intercept ballistic missiles in their mid-course phase, outside the Earth's atmosphere. The SM-3 doesn't carry an explosive warhead. It kills its target by slamming into it at a combined closing velocity of several kilometers per second. The force of the impact destroys the warhead before it can re-enter the atmosphere and reach its target. The missile, developed jointly by the United States and Japan, is capable of engaging intermediate-range ballistic missiles, the kinds that North Korea regularly tests. A single Arleigh Burke destroyer on patrol in the Pacific can provide ballistic missile defense coverage for an area of thousands of square miles. Multiple ships networked together via Aegis can create a layered defensive umbrella covering entire countries. These aren't theoretical weapons, they've been used in combat. In 1991, Arleigh Burke destroyers launched Tomahawk cruise missiles into Iraq during Operation Desert Storm, beginning a tradition of the class opening American conflicts from standoff range. In 2003, during Operation Iraqi Freedom, destroyers again fired opening Tomahawk salvos. In 2017, USS Porter and USS Ross fired 59 Tomahawk missiles at Shayrat Air Base in Syria in response to a chemical weapons attack. But the most extensive recent combat has been in the Red Sea. Beginning in late 2023, Houthi forces in Yemen began launching anti-ship ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones at commercial shipping and U.S. Navy vessels. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, including USS Carney, USS Mason, USS Gravely, and others, have been in near-constant combat operations, shooting down dozens of threats. Early engagements saw single ships intercept multiple simultaneously inbound weapons. USS Carney reportedly engaged ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones in a single night action. These engagements have been real-world validation of the weapons we've discussed. They've also exposed costs. SM-2 and SM-6 missiles run between $2 million and $4 million each. Intercepting a $2,000 drone with a $2 million missile is strategically unsustainable long-term, which is why directed energy and hypervelocity projectile programs are accelerating. But the intercept record has been nearly perfect, and no destroyer has been successfully hit. The Arleigh Burke is not standing still. The Flight 3 upgrade program continues to push the class forward, and several emerging capabilities, will transform what these destroyers can do. Directed energy weapons are coming to the destroyer. The high-energy laser with integrated optical dazzler and surveillance system, Helios, has been tested. This is a 60-kilowatt class laser designed to defeat small UAVs and optically blind adversary sensors. Higher power systems are in development for the drone problem the Navy is experiencing in the Red Sea. Cost-effective laser engagement is a strategic priority. The Navy has also announced the DDG Next Generation Destroyer program, which will eventually replace the Arleigh Burke. But given the class's continued relevance and the investment in modernization, Arleigh Burkes will be fighting America's wars for decades to come. Thanks for watching. If you learned something, hit subscribe and leave a comment below telling us which weapon system you found most impressive. We'll see you in the next one.